Tomb Raider worship.
Nice to meet you here.
Thank you, you too, you guys all.
Okay, we have some questions for you from our fans, from our community, and we'll just.
Well, when I finished Batman Arkham Asylum, I had so much fun with that project. And obviously it's a male character, single player with a great lore and a great history. But it didn't belong to us, it belonged to Warner Brothers. So when I finished Batman and Karl asked me to come to the studio and sort of take over the helm of looking after, sort of bringing this new vision of Lara to life, it was a very interesting opportunity because Lara's iconic. She's been around for 15 years this month. Imagine that, 15 years. And he had a vision for turning it on its head. And I thought, wow, just come off the back of working on an iconic character. And all the things I wanted to do, we had somewhat restricted due to it not being ours. The opportunity to be able to come in and take a character like Lara Croft and sort of reimagine it in a way in which only we know how. It's extremely exciting. So what you see is our opportunity to go back to the very beginning of the story of Lara Croft and tell a very new and very immersive tale. I personally like the fact that it's a lot more intimate. It allows us to be able to see a facet of Lara's personality which we've never seen before. I think, you know, Lara Croft emerged on the scene 15 years ago and she was a character that was already defined. Right? It was the sense that we knew about her history, we knew her parents, we knew her background, she had 2 guns, everything was already set. And given the opportunity to reimagine it, it allows us to go back and tell a very unique story that is not just about the iconography, the 2 guns and the braids. It's also about her personality. It's about showing a character which we all love so much in a very new and unique way. And I think you can see already from the demo, we're trying to portray her as almost like a real human being. The personality, the emotion, some of the psychological effects of this situation. They hurt her. We've never seen that before. We've never seen Lara, show any real emotion. She's always been that, let's say, strong-willed female character that doesn't take any crap from anybody. So this is a very different interpretation of Lara. So we began Legend, and that was the trilogy, and once we had began the trilogy we said we'd finish it. And probably about halfway through Underworld, the studio and Karl had made the decision, and I'd worked on Legend, Anniversary of Underworld, and as you know, Guardian of Light, and I was kind of there when the original idea was pushed forward to say, let's put our spin on it. So I was fully aware through Underworld that we were going to turn it on its head. So I was given the opportunity after Batman, I jumped on the chance to be a big part of that. So probably the best part of 3 years now. It has been sort of in the works, but really the last 18 months to 2 years, it's really sort of come to life on screen.
Any specific details you can tell us about the development process?
So I think we were very, very conscious in the very beginning to make sure that we set the foundation for this new vision in the correct manner. Obviously, being around for as long as it has, we have some very unique pillars, such as the sort of puzzle solving, the combat, the exploration, and although we've said it a million and one times, we try to remain true to the fact that that's the essence of Tomb Raider. So when we went through the development process, we tend to try and do as much as broad a scope as possible to see where we could take the game. So it wasn't necessarily this vision at the very beginning. There was many other things. You saw some of the stuff that hit the internet at a period of time when we were doing some research. So we were flushing out what would work and what wouldn't work. And really, when it boiled down to it, we sort of made a decision that to tell that story, it had to be that intimate one-to-one story on this island. So the only thing I say is we had plenty of ideas, and a lot of them got pushed off the table because they were either too supernatural. They kind of felt like old Tomb Raider. They weren't allowing us the opportunity to do anything new and unique. So this was a process that took a long time to get to this. This didn't just pop into our heads. We went, yeah, let's do it.
So the development started in 2008, 2007?
Yeah, about that. We've had a varied amount of artists. over the last 2 or 3 years, but the one who's synonymous now with the project and has been an absolute rock star of the studio is Brannock Adams. Brannock is without a doubt one of the most talented concept artists I've ever seen, and Darryl and I have spoken about it on many occasions. The guy is phenomenally quick at getting the idea from his head onto the screen. I think a lot of what himself and Brian Horton, the art director, have been doing has really inspired the team and team on every facet of the game to really sort of push to keep that new vision going.
Where do you see his works?
So we are actually looking at the possibility of doing some sort of gallery next year, some sort of exhibition. I think between Brannock and Brian, they've got some absolute fabulous pieces of work. Sorry? Yeah, we're going to see if we can do a proper gallery exhibition in a couple of locations around the world. Where Brian and I are having a conversation right now about whether or not it's going to work. So I would love to. I'd love to see the work, not just of the finished rendered pieces, but all of the concepts of all the different areas, and we have hundreds already. So I'd love to see them come to life on the wall somewhere in the gallery.
As far as I know, James Pike is an artist who also did concepts. I knew the one with the ship working in engineers.
Yeah.
And this guy worked for Uncharted 2.
Yeah, there's a lot of concept artists out there who touch many different properties. Once you have a particular style and you're really talented at getting ideas and creating new landscapes and environments, you know, you're going to be tapped to do numerous projects. Absolutely, right? And he in particular, we had found him and asked him to do some work, and when we saw his portfolio, obviously, you know, we'd chosen to use him beforehand. We saw his portfolio, we realised he had worked on some Uncharted stuff, but he'd also worked on a lot of stuff in the past that wasn't necessarily in direct competition. But once you find a talented artist, it doesn't matter what he's worked on before, if he's good, you hire him. So we've been working with probably the last 6 months, 5 or 6 months, and I'm right now talking to him about how we're going to announce him. It won't be right here, unfortunately.
Is he famous?
He has worked on some very well-known pieces. He's a very established and esteemed composer, and I'm very, very happy that he's on our project, and I'm looking forward to announcing him and getting him in front of the fans. He's doing some tremendous work. You can hear some of the work already in the demo, and we've just finished an 8-minute overture which spans the entire game. So it basically starts with the vision of what you see, and we see the spikes and troughs and how the music's going to evolve over the entire game. And it's the first time we've ever, I think, of all the audio guys working on the team, I think this is traditionally it's done in a movie. It's never been done in a video game, so this is the first time that we've created this full-on overture to be able to get the full tone, and he has been a rock star. Absolutely, we're very excited to work with him.
And about vocal performances?
Vocal performance, again, I actually was having emails back and forth with publicists and agents, and I'm down to LA in about 2 weeks to meet with her and discuss how we're going to announce her participation in the project. We're hoping to do it very soon, and she is super excited to be announced and to get it out to the fans. And I will say, she is already reading forums all around the world, and people are alluding to who it might or might not be. And I think in a couple of instances, people have been very close. So she's like, I want to tell the world. So I'm excited to get that news out as well.
So it's official, you're talking about official artist voice, yes?
Yeah, we're talking about the official voice of Lara Croft, who we've already made the decision. She is, what day is it today? I think she's probably right now in a mocap studio somewhere in LA, dressed up in an outfit, getting a great work through with the rest of the team and the rest of the characters. So yeah, watch this space. I think our goal is to begin the story where you see it right now. You know, we'll tell the tale of her embarking on our very first journey and the connection between her and Roth. But I think the goal for us is to, from day one, position her on the island and have that as kind of a persistent environment, and make the island almost a character that she's having to battle against outside of just the enemies and the other inhabitants. So I think our goal is to keep it all in one place. And when this game finishes, then we'll start to see Lara explore other regions and move on. But I think the goal has been from the very beginning, rather than go back to where Lara had been, and that was a globetrotter and kind of paying to move around the world and, you know, go on different adventures. She never really had a connection or a bond with anybody when she did that. She met people, but you never really felt that you had the personality of Lara Croft. So by having this entire adventure happen on one island, you have to be intimate with Lara and you have to see her interact with people. So you get to see a personality to Lara that you've never seen before. You get to see her actually talk to people over a very long period of time and feel like she's evolving in her character.
So you won't show us Lara on the concert in cutscene?
No, you literally see Lara from the minute the game starts until the minute the game ends. It's always going to happen on and around the island, because extracting her from that environment dilutes the experience that we're trying to immerse the player into. We want it to be as visceral as possible, so everything will happen in one location.